Welcome to Ask Mark. This is episode 95. I'm here with Matthew on the couch. I wasn't expecting him to be here, but here he is. And we're answering your subscriber questions on the channel today. Hashtag Ask Mark. Leave your question in the comment space below. You can leave it on this video or any of the other videos as well. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the little button, bell rather, so you get the notifications. Thank you, Matthew, for backing me up here. Would you like to read the questions too?
I can read you a question.
Would you like to read the questions, mate?
What have we got here?
You want to start at the top one?
That's quite a long one. Roxanna says, why would a guy want to leave stuff at a girl's house?
He's hooking in there. He's getting the call back. That is actually, have you ever done that, Matthew?
I just about to say, I read that because I have a funny story. I did that. I left my toothbrush.
Oh. And why did you leave your toothbrush at the girl's house?
Because I wanted to go back.
Thanks for owning it, Matthew. I like that. It's just a little plant. It's just a return invite. Would you ever let the girl that you were dating or the person you're dating use your toothbrush?
It's a great question. I'm not that big on it, but I'm okay with it. I feel like you've offered me your toothbrush in America before.
Did I? Post in the comments, is it weird if your partner uses your toothbrush?
Yeah.
Post in the comments. I know when I've done that in the past, I'd have to be pretty confident the girl liked me to do it. Actually, I wouldn't do it without asking, now I think about it. I can't think of ever doing it consciously and being like, I'm gonna leave this here without asking.
But I do that with you even. Like, I leave stuff here.
You do, yeah.
I just want to come back.
You do, yeah, and it works.
All right, there's that.
Thanks, Matthew. Appreciate your input. So there you have it. Guys leave stuff there sometimes because they just forget it. Sometimes because they're putting a sneaky plant on in there. But overall, I would say it's a pretty good sign that he's into you. Whether you're into him or not is another matter. HA says, any chance of recovery after being needy and then backing off? Absolutely, absolutely. And it's important to remember sometimes our needs are still valid. Neediness isn't from having needs. Neediness is just from the other person feeling like they don't have the choice as to whether to meet them. So if you pull back, you say, look, I'm gonna allow you the freedom to choose. Once someone has the freedom of choice, they might well choose to come and meet those needs. But if you take away someone's freedom, they will usually rebel and repel. Next question is from Brittany. We're working up the page here. Brittany says, I'm having trouble with my relationship. I've been seeing him for a year. Our relationship was absolutely amazing until COVID hit, and then he completely changed. Got to the point where we were fighting every week. Then he asked for space, but then he still texts me. He's very hot and cold about me, and then recently broke up with me because he's so stressed out about his current situation and just wants to be friends. I don't know what to do, and I hate to let him go because I know how an amazing person he was before the pandemic. Help. Brittany, I'm going to rain on the parade a little bit here, but a person is only as good a partner for you as they are in their worst moments, right? If someone's a great boyfriend 6 days a week and then he's toxic 1 day a week, then that's gonna be a toxic boyfriend, right? That's gonna be someone, if he's abusive on that 1 day, that's not gonna make for a good partner. Yes, he was great, but anyone can be great in fair weather. When life is going well, when things are good, when he's got his job and he's earning money well and everything's working, it's easy to be great. Anyone can be great in those circumstances. What really defines a great couple is how you go when things are in the pits and when things are not so great. When one person's really struggling and stressed, are they still able to support the other? Are they able to get back on their feet? Or do they kind of long-term withdraw to their own hole or cave or whatever it is, right? Brittany, I feel for you, but this is a good example of you've got to build your relationship resilience for big things like COVID and beyond. I mean, how many relationships did COVID break up? But COVID was just showing weaknesses that were already there, right? The couples that had a really solid foundation, that worked as a team, that have had healthy conflict and spoken up and are good at meeting each other's needs, those couples didn't break up. It was the couples that had these chinks in the armor that got hit by COVID. So Brittany, I really hope that this can come back for you. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to or willing to put in the effort to do that. I hope it does, but it's probably a good relationship lesson for you that, you know, don't wait until the worst happens. Wait until COVID, wait until you lose a friend, wait until one of you loses a parent or a job. Don't wait until that happens. The more you can be open and honest and authentic and speak up on boundaries and get into healthy conflict and do all of that, the more you prep the relationship for those tough times. Belinda says, I've been in a long distance relationship for 18 months and I've not met in person. Belinda, we've talked every day, says he says we were married, he's so nice and kind, I just to know how long I should wait to meet him. Belinda, you've mortgaged yourself for someone you haven't met. Why? Check in with yourself, Belinda. I'd really encourage you. If you haven't met him, you're not in a relationship with him. You're not relating to him. You're not two human beings relating. You are, you know, one of my coaches said it best. He said, you know, sometimes you're in relationships where if you've ever walked in front of a tiger at a zoo, you know, you might be close, but there's this pane of glass between you that makes you feel safe, right? This is like that, except the pane of glass is way on the other side of the frickin' zoo. So you've got this huge pane of glass that you call distance. You're both kind of looking at each other from a massive distance and it feels safe, but the actual relating ship of the relationship, if you haven't met, is virtually non-existent. So I would really encourage you to check in with yourself around the fears that you have around relating and either meet this guy, form a real relationship, dive into the fear of that, or form it with someone who is there and emotionally available to do that. Just don't accept crumbs with this because it's comfortable. The next question is from Jung-jee Lee, who says, what about the guy that tries to only make me his girlfriend whenever I'm ending things between us? Oh my God. I always see suspicious messages on his phone and never tell him I'm aware of different answers he gives me versus the things he tells other girls. And when I grow cold and initiate an ending to what we do, especially cutting off sex, he always resorts to making me his girlfriend. Jung, I'm gonna speak candidly here. This is all kinds of fucked up, okay? If someone only wants you when you're rejecting them and there's no connection, there's no actual communication here, you're resorting to basically cutting things off from each other, it's just cut it. There's nothing healthy here. You're in a bonus question.
Yeah, bonus question. There's a bonus
What do you got here? Anne says, hi, what are the signs that a guy is hiding his true feelings from you? And why would a man hide his in a relationship? Oh, good question, Maddie. Really good question. What are the signs he's hiding his feelings? You don't see them would be a big sign. Like, has he expressed healthy anger around you? Can he tell you when he's sad, when he's angry, particularly at you? Can he tell you when he's emotional? Men are emotional creatures. Men are humans. So if you haven't seen him in certain states, and I've been totally guilty of this as well in my own relationship, is if we're not showing those emotions, sometimes we do it because we think we're trying to protect you. Sometimes we do it because we think it makes us weak. Sometimes we do it because we just think we won't be accepted in anything but a stoic state. But if you're not seeing those emotional experiences, well, they're happening, right? Guys are emotional, just as emotional as you. We're just much more cultured to hide it. So the signs are basically you haven't seen them. And another sign would probably be he replaces everything with anger. So you see a lot of anger, but he kind of reacts with anger and it's really coming from sadness or coming from insecurity or coming from vulnerability. But you see this sort of blanket anger, which is like, I don't have these other emotions, so I'm just going to cover them with anger. Thanks very much. That would be one. Other things would be he's super stoic in moments that would typically, you'd expect someone to be emotional, you know, saying goodbye to you, he's going away or something, or coming back. Stoicism in emotional moments would be another. So yeah, there's a few there. Hopefully that gives you a guide. The next question is going to be what to do about it, which we've actually got a video on that. I'll link it in the description. But the short answer is, if you can create a safe space where he feels truly accepted for those emotions, he will open up more. But that also requires you to be comfortable with those emotions. It requires him to want to kind of do the work to connect more deeply with you in doing that. So there's a few pieces there. We won't dive too deep into that now, but hopefully that gives you some hints or answers on what men do when they hide their feelings from you and how that shows up. Next question is from Rosie. Rosie says, I have anxiety and terrible patience, which is not one of my best qualities. I've tried online dating now 5 times, but only for a couple of days before deleting my account, sometimes within 20 minutes. The problem is often with apps that you can't see who's already interested in you unless you pay, and then you might really like someone, but you hear nothing. How do I work on my patience, and what are some important things to know about apps and how they work? Well, there's a lot going on here for you, Rosie. You've got to treat apps like a bar or like a social networking event. It's very similar. And we often forget that. We often log into apps when we're in a crummy mood, when we're kind of bored, when we're not feeling super social. You've really got to, and especially for introverts, if you're an introvert, I know I certainly was/am. If you're an introvert, you've got to like get your head in a good place in a social space to go to a bar or to go to a networking event. It's the same with apps. You got to bring that social side out. And if you turn up like the mopey person who doesn't want to talk to anyone, then it's probably not the best night for you to go out, probably not the best night for you to log on to an app. You want to bring your best energy. And then as a coach, I'd really encourage you to expose yourself to what makes you anxious, because in that moment of discomfort, that's where all the growth is. Okay, so I'd love, if I was on a call with you, I'd get you on the app and I'd say, what's coming up for you? What are the fears? Because by tackling those fears, by bringing them out into the light, by addressing them, by confronting them, that's the way you're ultimately going to beat your anxiety and beat the apps in the process, or enjoy the apps. What if everyone my age is married? Lol, says Alyse, and you have a limiting belief that you need to remove, Alyse. What if the man is the needy one, says Heather. Yeah, this is a great question. So I would be encouraging you to really check in on your definition of needy here, because there's needy, oh, he has healthy needs. He's not actually needy at all, and you're just being avoidant. And then there's needy, he's really reaching over the fence. You're feeling pressured to do what he says. He's putting his emotions on you, or too much of his time, effort, attention, energy is invested on you. And it feels like you're his focus to the point where you feel pressure. There's definitely work to be done here for you too, Heather. I would be chatting, I don't know if he'd be open to chatting with a coach or a psychologist, but you guys have got to open the communication lines on this. You've got to express how you're feeling and how his actions are making you feel, whether they're truly needy or not. You've got to express that. You've got to hear his response. You've got to hear how you expressing that and how your responses make him feel. Because there could be an opportunity here to build a lot more closeness with him, because he could be being needy because he feels you leaning away. And actually by you leaning into your own fear, if you're leaning away through fear, you leaning in will actually allow him to be more comfortable with his needs being met. But it's very hard to say without more details. I hope that helps a little bit, Heather. Katie says, I have a question. Why do some guys talk to you and then for no reason at all block you? And you are wondering what you did wrong. Katie, the biggest problem that you have is you're making the narratives about yourself, right? People block you online for 1,000,001 reasons. Everything from his ex-girlfriend showed up again, to he's having doubts, to he was just looking for a pen pal, to his wife just broke up with him, he's actually going through a divorce, to he's lost his phone, to there's 1,000,001 reasons why human beings that don't know you do weird shit. I'm not going to list all of them, but 99.9% of them are not about you. So don't do what you're doing here and take it personally, because it simply is not about you. That's all of them. You got any more?
I'm trying to find some, but
No? Post your questions. Ask Mark, hashtag Ask Mark in the comments section below, and hit the subscribe button with the little bell if you haven't already. You got to hit the bell so you get the notifications. And this is my book. Very proud of it. Amazon bestseller. 300 plus pages of goodness. So really good background reading while you're on your dating journey to get things right. Everything from self-development, getting you in a good place, to the art of dating and being your best authentic self in the dating world. So check it out. Link in the description. That's the video for today. Thank you for joining me. Hit the thumbs up and again, post your questions below, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.